So ladies and gentlemen, this is the brand new 2026 Lexus RZ 550e. And this is my first time ever driving an electric vehicle. And let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. And I cannot wait to share with you guys my experience. Now, for starters, this is a 401 horsepower. You're certainly gonna feel it right when you press on that acceleration pedal. And it could go 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. The price is gonna be $62,000. This is the F Sport Edition. This is all electric, no hyperness, no gas, nothing like that. It's all-wheel drive, and of course, it's the Lexus that you know and love with luxury and reliability in mind. So let's take a look at the body here. So this is electric. So you have your charging port here, and you could be able to charge it with any EV station. You do have adapters provided, so pretty much you can go to any electric charging station. And you have your door handle here. This isn't an ordinary door handle. This actually has a button inside. I don't know if you can get that good, cameraman, but you don't open it regular. You press a button on the back. And of course, you have a touch button here to lock the doors. It will close the mirrors if the car is off. The car is currently on. We're gonna take a look inside in a second. I guess you could say this is like an SUV. So go open up the trunk here. Opens up automatically. Pretty much your groceries, anything you could put in here, you could basically slide it right in. You could pull down the seats too for extra storage. And you could press the button again. Goes down, and I gotta say, this is just such a beautiful looking vehicle. I mean, beautiful looking SUV here. I gotta say, is definitely one of my favorites. Now, in terms of the wheels here, we have 20-inch alloyed wheels here, and I gotta say, this is gonna be fantastic for the rain, the snow. Not in a certain level as a Tacoma, but gotta say, for day-to-day drives and commutes, this is gonna be perfectly fine. Oh, and blue calipers. You have blue brake calipers there too. I think that's a nice attention to details there. All right, so how can I miss out on the exterior color? This is the gorgeous wind color here, and you have aesthetics of black, this nice piano black here. Something about gray and black is just one of my favorite color combos. And really looking at the interior now, you have black seats too. It's cloth and a little bit of leather. We have ventilated seats. We're gonna talk about the inside in a second, but gotta say, I appreciate the stitching on the seats too as well. Now, talking about the front, I wasn't really a fan of this design like that. I'm so used to seeing the Lexus iconic grille, but this is growing on me 110%, just nice and clean here. And of course you have LED lights here, gets super bright at night. And then this Lexus logo actually lights up at night too, which is really cool. And then inside the trunk, I was always curious to see if it was like additional storage or what, but there's actually stuff inside. So if I open up the hood, I actually have some guts inside here. So you have the battery, you have the washer fluid. So pretty interesting stuff going on here. It's just beautiful. So yeah, design A1. I gotta say, for the most part, Lexus, this is just the Lexus that we know and love at a more modern design. And I love the taillights, the headlights. Something about a Lexus always intrigues me every single time. And this one here is no exception. But why don't we take a look inside? It gets even better. Now, in terms of the interior, absolutely love how clean and minimal this is. Of course, you have your power button here to turn on the vehicle. You have your ventilation, okay, nice and snappy there. And of course, you have your hazards. Then you have this beautiful multimedia display here. So this is gonna allow for media controls. Of course, you have your phone here. You could connect via Bluetooth. And of course, you have your vehicle settings here. And this is where you could be able to actually change the drive mode. So you have normal, you have sport. So let's tap on sport. And of course, the cluster is gonna kind of mimic that too as well. And of course, you have your eco and you have your range, right? So it's gonna reduce electricity consumption and it's gonna give you more range. Eco, it's gonna be more efficient of driving. And then the sports is gonna just be maximum power, all out power. And the cool thing about this, you can actually customize the drive. So you could be able to customize the steering, the air conditioner, the powertrain. You could be able to customize it to your liking here. And then underneath the drive modes, you have driving assist. So you could be able to enable or disable these select features here, which I gotta say, it is pretty handy to have. So you have your rear camera detection, your rear cross detection, pre-collision system, which is amazing to have. And then next up, you have your active sound control. I would say this feature here is a bit controversial. Some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna absolutely hate it. It's gonna amplify the sound. So since this is an electric car, you don't really hear the engine. Well, you don't hear nothing at all. So this is gonna give you that engine sound. It's gonna generate an engine sound. I'm gonna do a sound test during this video so you guys can hear, but essentially you can control the volume of that. So you have high, medium, low, or you can just simply turn it off and just hear nothing in this case. And I know it's on the brand new IS350 2026. I guess you could say it's cool to have that option here on an electric car that's quiet. So this is how the adaptive sound control sounds like on high. Go. So essentially it gives you that mimic of an engine instead of it being quiet, but cool. I'm gonna probably have it off though. Then you have your trip information here, how much range you use. Of course, you have your charging schedule, so you could be able to set schedules and have the vehicle remind you. And of course, you have your battery preconditioning, so you could be able to just have your battery maintenance here. And you have your all-wheel drive. This is all-wheel drive. You have your tire pressure, and you have your vehicle alerts. You also have your regular settings here, so this is just your personal info, your Bluetooth, so this is gonna allow you to connect your iPhone for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And of course, you have your Wi-Fi here, so you could be able to have in your Wi-Fi and you can control the sound. So this one here was on by default, so it's gonna automatically, balance out the sound depending on driving speed. I just turned this off right away because I like to play my music when I'm on the highway, like blasting and everything. But yeah, you can adjust the levels and you can adjust the EQs and you can adjust the balance and the fade. So really well customization here. And of course, you could disable your artwork here on the media with the album cover. And yeah, you just have previous settings here for the media. Now if I go back, you have vehicle customized, so you have your heads up display. We're going to talk about that in a second. And of course, you have your meter type, you have your lights, you have illumination, which this light illumination is pretty awesome. You could change the color. So look, I'm spoiling it already, but you can actually change that color, which is pretty cool. I love when cars manufacture, especially Lexus, they offer customization with illumination. So yeah, really various different colors here. So you have that blue, which is nice. I just love this kind of style with the lighting. It looks really sick. And of course, it's on the other side. And of course, you can customize it with the entire color wheel. So we can just tap on color. And you have this entire color wheel here, so you could be able to select whatever color you like. And of course, you have by zone. You can, change the rear, change the foot. Yeah, driving this at night is pretty amazing. You have your door control. So, it's going to change the behavior on how to auto unlock the car. So when you shift it to park, it's going to auto unlock the vehicle. And of course, you have your wireless key fob here. So 2 press to unlock it, and you can lock when the doors are open. So yeah, so you have your various different door controls here. And you can also customize that beeping noise. So that's pretty cool. Sometimes a lot of people might think, hey, that beeping noise is too loud. So you could be able to have like a soft tone. And of course, you have your boarding and exit controls, your custom driving mode, where we just talked about earlier, your charging settings here, your tire pressure, your steering switch. Yeah, all these controls here, extremely customizable. And yeah, it's what to expect from both Lexus and Toyota. They're well done with the operating system, the OS, really good stuff. Now underneath that, as you guys can see, you have your climate controls. It goes along with the multimedia display. So it is part of it in a sense. So you have ventilated heated seats. Of course, you have your control on where the air blows. You also have your heated steering wheel here. You can have it set to auto, or you can have the ventilated seat also set to auto, or the heated seats. And you also have additional climate controls here present. And on the other side, this is just for the, enable the power outlets on the rear. And of course, you have your heads up display. And if you want more of a silent kind of like, treatment there, you have that. So just additional controls there. And then on the passenger side, pretty much identical. You can have everything in sync. And then underneath that, you have your actual slider. So I like the slider a lot. So just be able to slide it right away, and it's gonna just turn right on. So it's not like you have to press this button here and then start sliding. You can just slide it to just turn it on and keep it moving. And I must say, just going over the display again, I like how silky smooth everything is. So you could be able to pinch the zoom. You have your double taps. Yeah, everything is just nice and smooth and silky. And yeah, that's the multimedia. Now, when you turn on your air conditioner, you could be able to set the temperature. I really love this knob here. I'm gonna just probably have it on level 1 so you guys can, so it don't pick up on the mic. You can either turn it clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust the temperature. And I love the attention to detail. Left side is the cooler side, which is blue, and then on the right side you have more of a red tone to indicate that it is warmer. So I love that. I just love the aesthetics of the temperature controls here. Then you have physical buttons. This is just to heat the windshield, so sometimes the windshield get foggy, you could be able to enable, disable that. Of course, you have your media knob here just to control the sound, and then you have your rear. This is just to defrost the rear windows. And on the bottom you have USB type C's here, so this is just to indicate the charging devices. This USB here is more intended for you know, to plug in Android Auto, whatever the case may be there. And then you have additional controls here. This is to enable the camera view, so you can see around your surroundings. I love this camera system so much. And the parking in general is pretty interesting on this vehicle because you have something called auto park. So I can press that button and the Lexus is automatically gonna park the vehicle for me. And this is futuristic, so it is pretty cool. I'm going to do a demo on this on the second. And then underneath all of that, you have a wireless charging pad here, so you could charge up your devices. And yeah, my phone is charging up and it could just rest there nice and safe. And the cool thing is you can see that orange here. This is just part of the illumination light here, so you can change that color too as well. And same thing by the foot area too. You guys see that same orange aesthetics. You can change the color of just the entire lighting of this vehicle. It's really nice. Luxury at its finest. And then you have your gear shifter here, so if I press on the brake, you got to push down and then you could be able to have reverse, or you could have drive if you twist it over to the right side, or you just press it down completely just to get into neutral. And then there's a button just to park it, and then that's it. So nice and simple, nice and easy. And then underneath that you have your manual mode, and then you have your traction. You could turn that off. You have your parking brake, and you have your brake hold. Then you have two cup holders here. Usually, usually I always have an oil diffuser in any car. This is gonna just keep the car smelling, you know, nice and good. Stop buying those tea trees, get yourself an oil diffuser, thank me later. This is gonna just keep the car smelling good pretty much at all times. Has a timer, has a power button, all that stuff. Maybe I'll throw a link in the description. Yeah, let me not gatekeep. This is like a staple for me. Then you have your armrest. So the armrest here, it goes either or, so it goes on the left, so the passenger can access the armrest compartment, and I can access the other side too as well. Now, there isn't no glove compartment, so there's no glove compartment here. It's literally just empty. It's all clean. That's where all of the manual and everything got to go in here. So basically I have to use a manual here, my insurance card, everything here. I got gum here, and of course I have my power plugs here for charging, and that's it. Everything is stored within the armrest here. It could be a little cramped once you start putting the manual and everything in there, but for the most part, it is nice that you have additional more leg room here, so it's not you know, so it's not taking up as much space. All right, let's shift gears into the cluster here. Now this is the cluster. I wish Lexus did a bit better job here, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. So you have your battery indicator on the top right alongside the time, and you have all your modes there present. Of course, you have your miles per hour, what kind of gear you're in. It's also going to show if you're in park. Now on the left side you have a charge / power, so if you press the accelerate, it's going to tell you like, hey, you're using power. And then if you start slowing down, it's going to tell you that it's going to charge. And that's the thing with electric cars in general, it's going to charge the battery. So you know, it's just boosting up the efficiency a little bit. And I must say, charging this is not too shabby, I'll say that. And speaking of efficiency, if I zoom this in, it's going to show how much miles you have left. So I have 178 miles. And then on the left side, I just have the miles that's just been accumulated. And then on the steering wheel, you can adjust different modes here. So, well, not really the modes, but I can be able to launch up the phone. I could skip reverse tracks. Of course, I have my voice control, and of course I have my volume up and down. Now you can actually just touch these. So I could just tap on this just to raise up the volume, or I could just tap on the minus and it's gonna go down. So you can also press it down, but it's also touch sensitive too. So it's gonna react to touch as well. Now on the right side here, it's gonna tell you right here on the cluster here. So this is gonna be for your drive assist mode, and it's gonna be your follow distance. And alongside you have your cruise control and your lane tracking assist. And of course you have your smaller option here too. So this is gonna be mostly for just the heads up display up there, which we're gonna talk in a second. And of course you have your HUD position. And this is the HUD here on the windshield, so pretty much the cluster right on the windshield. I always love this feature, just the fact how you could be able to see the miles per hour, the speed limit, and just additional information. And yeah, it's present there. Yeah, it's just super cool. It's not too distracting while you're driving because you're focusing mostly on the top here, and it's just present on the bottom. So really neat feature. I always appreciate the heads-up display. Now on the side next to the cluster, you also have additional buttons here. So this is just to control the brightness here. So if it's too bright, you can lower or increase the brightness. And of course you have your ODBO trip. This is gonna be for your miles. So you can be able to flip between those. And you have your seat positioning. So you have presets here. So right now, if I just tap on one, it's gonna adjust my mirrors, and it's gonna adjust my seats and adjust the steering wheel. So yes, you can actually adjust the steering wheel here. So pretty neat. I love how Lexus had this for years, even before when I was born. So yeah, you do have your presets here. And let's say somebody else is driving, you could be able to press 2 and it's gonna have their preset. I just like that feature a lot. Of course, you have your trunk open and close. You have the hood underneath there. It's probably gonna be hard to see, but it's present there. Then to the door panels, you just have this beautiful lighting here. I know it's getting dark out, but I just really do appreciate the lighting and everything. I gotta take this out for a drive at night one time. But you have your basic window controls here, so all 4 of them. And of course, you have your child lock for the rear. You can enable, disable that. Of course, you can unlock the doors, and you can even close the mirrors. So there's a mirror, you can even close it. You also have an auto button where it's gonna automatically close the mirrors as soon as you lock the door or just exit the vehicle. So I usually just have that enabled. Oh, and on the steering wheel, I didn't even talk about this. On the steering wheel, of course, you have your signal left, right, and of course, you have your headlights here, so you could be able to flash anybody you desire. And of course, you have your auto button here. And on the other side, this is gonna be your windshield wiper. You pull it up just to release the fluids. Now also too, this is probably gonna take some time to get used to, but the door handles is not regular. So you gotta press this button, literally like a button or a latch could be. So you gotta get used to that. That little latch, you know, first time getting this, it was like a little confusing to me, but you can just press it down and then you get exit the vehicle. On the passenger side, very similar. You still have that beautiful ambient light across the entire door panel. You can store like cups and stuff there. Same thing on the driver's side too as well. And yeah, that's basically it on the front here. This little beam here, in real life, I can't really see it, but on camera it shows. This is just your attention awareness. So it's gonna just make sure you're paying attention while driving. And just overall, Lexus, just getting a nice experience here when it comes down to Lexus interior. Now, of course, you have the mirror here. You know, it is a screen, but it's also, you can see right through it. The moonroof is probably the most interesting one because, well, you guys can see it, and now you see what's going on the outside. So it's literally a button here. Let me just turn off. This is how you turn on and off the light. You literally just touch the light. But the sunroof or the moonroof, it's glass, but then you can diffuse the glass and now you can't see nothing outside. So pretty cool technology here. There's just, the glass is just so cool. And then you have your SOS for emergencies, and you have your door. This is just to enable or disable the light for the door. And yeah, so if you want, you could be able to have this enable for your door, but you can also disable it if you want the light to be on. So, and one more thing I forgot to mention, on the passenger side, they have the same vent here. So pretty cool stuff there. And all in all, pretty clean stuff here going on with the interior here. Now, in terms of the rear seats, same exact thing with the handle. And of course, they can lock the door here too. They have that control there. So that's pretty interesting. The back seat is pretty comfortable. I have a lot of space here. This is an SUV after all, so this is gonna be amazing for road trips too as well. So pretty spacious back here. I just have my gimbal here, so just don't mind this for those smooth shots. I think also to add on to those road trips, you have amazing controls here. So you have controls such as heated seats. No ventilated seats, unfortunately. You have dual USB Type-C, and then you have AC. So you have an AC power plug here. This is a 1500 watts, 120 volts. And of course, in the back seat here, you still get that beautiful panoramic view. Right now, the glass is diffused. Yeah, this is pretty cool technology though. You know, during the day, you're getting a lot of light back here. It's not as dark. But yeah, just looking at just the front one more time here, gotta tell you, man, this is just a beautiful looking vehicle. I mean, so every little bit of it is just pretty cool. I mean, I think for you guys are gonna love this. I think there's really nothing to complain. The only nitpick I'll say, the display on the cockpit is a little low res, but everything else pretty nice. I mean, just the illumination alone, that is just so cool. All right, and then on the back seat here, you can pull this down, the armrest, and of course you have additional, or the cup holders on the rear seat here. But you can also store the cups on the side panels here too. Now, in terms of the driving experience, considering this is my first electric car, I'm still kind of like experiencing like just the first time like driving an electric car, not really hearing the engine, and just a very smooth driving experience. It's what you know and love with Lexus. You know, you're getting that luxury and you also getting just that smoothness to it. And the thing is with electric cars, just in general, once you press that accelerate paddle, it goes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, it just goes. And this one here, the RZ 550 F Sport, is no exception. I mean, it's pretty much the same exact thing. But in terms of the RZ 550E, yeah, this one goes for sure. Acceleration, I think it's irrelevant to like 400 horsepower. This thing is fast, guys. It's super fast. Now, like I mentioned too, on the menu system, you can actually have like a sound control. So right now I have it off. It has an artificial sound to it where it's gonna sound like an engine when you're going fast. But me personally, I think that gets a little annoying. It's very like, it's the same thing. Yeah, all in all, I mean, the driving experience is really nice. It's actually 95 degrees here in New York, super hot day. And I just think that this is gonna be one of my favorite cars to drive, I would say so. It is cool that the sunroof is not physical, it's digital. It's a digital kind of moonroof there. All in all, at first I wasn't like super excited to review this because I'm not really a fan of electric cars, but after like driving this for a couple of days now, it's only been 3 days, I gotta say, yes, I believe the hype of electric cars. Don't knock it until you try it. Yes, the charging is gonna get some time to get used to because you gotta download this app, or you don't have to, but it's more convenient to use that app. But all in all, just the electric driving in this economy right now with gas prices is through the roof. When it comes down to efficiency and saving money on gas, electric cars are the way to go. Woo! Yo, yeah, when this thing goes, it goes. Now I must say, that sound system, let me see this. Sound system is good. I'm supposed to be the one whose heart is made of ice. Oh man, it's just a lot of fun. That's the thing with this car. I mean, it's just fun. It's fun. It's something about driving Lexus in general. It's just a lot of fun driving a Lexus. Something about it. Like I reviewed the LX, and you know, of course I'm reviewing this, and it's just something about it. It just brings that fun. You know, there's probably more cars that's more fun to drive, of course, but I don't know, man. I did drove a Lamborghini before, so you know, I know there's like certain levels of fun that, you know, that cars have, but this sound system is incredible. I know a lot of people like to bash on electric cars. I can understand the hate for it, just like, oh, if you run out of battery, what are you gonna do in the middle of the road? Bro, listen, if I'm at a low percentage right now, I'm gonna take my butt to a charging station. Like if it's at 20%, I'm charging. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like a lot of people, oh, this is terrible for road trips. I think this is a perfect road trip car. I mean, it's comfortable. I think this is gonna be amazing for long commutes. The seats are comfortable. It drives smooth. It's like, it's a joy to drive. I'm not sure if it has any self-driving capabilities. I don't think it has, but just having that electricity, like the battery operation, and having that luxury of Lexus, it makes it a pretty compelling option. But I will say this though, Lexus did send me this vehicle to review, so I'm just testing this out. But it's just so crazy to think that I just came back from Camp Toyota. Camp Toyota is an annual event where we test out rugged vehicles such as Tacomas, 4Runners, Sakuras, and stuff like that. Now here I am back around my city here, and now testing out electric cars. So yeah, man, it's a joy to drive, I'll say that. At first I wasn't too keen on reviewing this, but I think it's a lot of fun to drive, and that acceleration is one of the highest ever any gas car, because once you press down that acceleration paddle, it just goes. It's nothing, you know, nothing like transmission, none of that stuff. It just goes instantaneously. All right, guys, now in terms of the parking, let me put this into reverse. You do have your sensors all around, and you have your 360 camera, making it easier to park. So it would be cool to show the distance, but you do have your safety parking features here. So if I move up a little bit, yeah, that's it. Very tight though, very tight parking, but this is nice. And of course you have your different modes here too as well. Show you the distance here and show you around and see if you're close to the curve or not. Yo guys, this is my last day with the RZ 550. This one here definitely did surprise me. Yo, something about this is probably one of my favorite Lexus in a while. I mean, we press that acceleration, it just goes. Like, it's no hesitation, no gear shifting, nothing like that. It just goes. And easily, I think if I'm a millionaire one day, without a doubt, I'm definitely gonna get an electric car. I mean, I'm gonna get something. Like, it's just so much fun driving an electric car. Something about it, so much fun.
I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep in